ball here, so it is worth persevering to get the mileage, to get more experience. Now another lap down as Harry King powers out of the chicane. Scott McKenna leading the rookie class. Harry King technically is a rookie, but as he is the Porsche GB scholar, he's not eligible for the rookie award. So he is as inexperienced as the rookies are, the official rookies, but it's Scott McKenna that leads that rookie contest. There's the leading Pro-Am, Esme Hawkey, still in 7th place overall. Of course, she raced in the championship last year, raced in W Series, the pure female series last year, so lots of racing miles in 2019, all being put into good practice this season. It was a great drive for an overall podium in race 1.
And also an MB Motorsport development driver for the British Touring Car team. So she had a brief outing in one of the Hondas at Snetterton at the Goodyear tyre test, and that will greatly help her experience as well, having never driven or raced a front-wheel drive car before.
Now there is the field turns through Coppice. You see the field a bit lower down, going into McLean's. Aaron Mason locking up, going into McLean's. Now Aaron Mason in Pro-Am 3rd in class. Justin Sherwood is behind him as the leading Am, getting away from the class opposition here. Perhaps it is fair to say that Justin is one of the most experienced in the Am class, the reigning Am champ. Doesn't have regular sparring partner Peter Carlhead in the championship. For the moment, we look forward to seeing Peter back, maybe later this year or more likely next. But Justin actually showing his pace, getting onto the tail of Aaron Mason in the Pro-Am Brookspeed car ahead of him.
Yeah, we just saw Aaron have a big lock-up, didn't we? He doesn't want too many of those. It's very easy to lock the inside front wheel once you start to turn in, trail braking, and just release a little bit of pressure on the tyre. It's easy to lock it up, but do it too many times and you get a flat spot, and it also knocks your confidence on the brakes.
So 9 laps to go for Harry King, the race leader, who is now 3.6 seconds to the good. Justin Sherwood, in the meantime, heads down towards the old hairpin. And as I say, is way out in front now with very nearly 5 seconds of a margin over his class opposition. Harry King, though, in splendid isolation up front, he has been able to pull away. A little bit of a twitch going into the chicane there, sorts it out, but you can see the effort being put in. He's not still on that steering wheel.
You see what I mean about 11 tenths?
Absolutely.
11 tenths, that means he is this far away from a little mistake, and you need to just find that gentle, steady rhythm. One mistake and he drops a result, and he lets everything. It's very hard to catch up. There's not many points between each position, so you have a non-finish, very difficult to make it back up.
So the field pouring downhill once more. Still Morgan Hannaford with that fastest lap of the race, to his credit, from earlier on. Ross Wiley you're looking at, who is in 6th place, but having lost time earlier when he was trying to get past Esme Hawkey. So Sam McLeod has pulled away, and Ross now busy in his pursuit, trying to make up 1.3 seconds. Josh Webster 3rd still, sandwiched between the red line cars. Scott McKenna ahead of him, Matty Graham behind.
Yeah, everyone would have been starting. Oh, that was a lock-up. I think that was Webster, actually. See if he ran wide, but everyone's starting on basically brand new tyres. Yeah, Webster lost a bit of ground with that for each race, but they are sprint tyres. They're Michelin Cup sprint tyres, and they do tend to lose a little bit of performance towards the end of the race. That's where the mistakes can creep in.
Mason looking spectacular again, as their Lee Frost and Lucky Carrera still busy battling. This is the 2nd in the Am class. Their teammates, of course, at Simon Reed Motorsport. Lee Frost with a bit of damage on the right front corner of his car as well.
Yeah, I think the people are picking that up through the chicane, just dropping a wheel off and catching the front splitter or the rector-cell barriers. They look like they're going to be battling all year long, don't they?
Very evenly matched indeed, these two, yeah. Lucky Carrera won the opening 2 races in the Whisper Ferrari Challenge at Brands Hatch last weekend. He's on the back of Lee Frost. We did see Lucky Carrera in the final couple of meetings at Carrera Cup GB at the back end of last year. Now here, you've got Mark Kimber, newcomer this season, and right up behind him is Will Martin, newcomer this season, and this is a battle between the 2 rookies for 8th and 9th places. Yeah,
Will Martin, you see, with a plain front bumper in primer there, legacy of his first race incident. That's always a sign of a new bumper, but he's got a good overtake there, nicely up the inside on the exit of Coppice, and out-braking into the Roberts chicane.
Will Martin clips the rector-cell barrier, gets away with it, but the primer will have suffered a touch. He drives for Richardson Racing, stepping into Carrera Cup, so new drivers, new teams as well, which is good to see coming into the championship. Leaders are on lap 18 of 23 now, as Will Martin, ahead of Mark Kimber, dives down through the right at Redgate.
Yeah, 3 new teams, Richardson Racing, Fox Motorsport and Simon Green Motorsport, all welcomed into the Carrera Cup. We obviously traditionally have our powerhouse teams, if you like, Parker Racing and Redline, but it's good to see new teams coming in.
There's the Brookspeed car of Mark Kimber. Brookspeed with a renewed attack this season as well, which is good to see, and Mark Kimber trying to fight back as best he can. Right now, Harry King is the leader by 3.4 seconds. Lower down the order here, heading towards the timing line, James Townsend, and behind him, back out after his pit stop, you'll see, is Justin Armstrong. He's 4 laps down, so number 6 not on the same lap as the pink, black and yellow car ahead. It becomes a test session, really, for Justin Armstrong. That said, if you have a car like this at your disposal and a Donington around which to drive it, you're going to go back out, aren't you?
Yeah, now as we get to the end of the race, look, we see Josh Webster getting onto the back of the tail of Scott McKenna. He's coming on a little bit stronger at the end of the race. That splitter fortunately hasn't detached itself any further, so he's only lost about a quarter to a third of the front downforce, so he's still able to act competitively.
Dorian Mansilla losing a place here to Lorcan Hannafin, so Hannafin goes through. That puts him up into the top 10 now after his lap 1 spin at this corner, the El Hairpin. Dorian Mansilla, the Argentine driver, drops back 1 spot, but he's never raced here before, so learning about the circuit. Comes from a good racing family, his father having raced in this country in the very early 80s in Formula Ford, Formula Ford 2000, Formula 3, and then European Formula 2. Dorian Mansilla raced in Porsche Super Cup last season, so he knows the cars, but he's learning about the tracks all the time.
Yeah, good recovery from Lorcan Hannafin, really. He's had really good pace, obviously fastest lap, that won't get beaten now, but a really good recovery. Look at Webster, he's there, he's starting to intimidate, moving around, flashing the lights as a test of Scott McKenna's resolve now to hold off former champion.
So Scott McKenna, last year's Ginetta GT5 champion that we saw on occasions at British Touring Car events, came from Ginetta Junior Racing, so he's now made the big step up into these very powerful Porsches, these 4-litre 500 horsepower cars, and he's got the 2014 champion tucked up behind him. If he can repel the advance all the way up to the end of lap 23, he'll have done a good job. But Scott McKenna, 4th in qualifying, 4th in race 1, running 2nd in race 2, for the moment at least, keeping Webster at bay, looking very impressive indeed, as, again, Lucky Caron tries to go around the outside of Lee France, but, again, to no avail.
No, Steve Clark lurking behind them, former British GT driver and Carrera Cup driver, making a welcome return to the series. Didn't end up so well in the first race in the gravel, but having a better run this time.
Getting a bit closer to this arguing duo, Simon Green Motorsport teammates, holding each other up just a little. And actually, they're not too far behind Justin Sherwood. Now, here is 2nd and 3rd, coming over the timing line. Scott McKenna with Webster a little closer to him, only 0.4 of a second back. So Josh is having a good charge, but is he going to run out of laps?
Yeah, it does look like they're pretty evenly matched, doesn't it? Perhaps that front splitter. Yeah, a little wide on the exit from McKenna, so again, he feels that pressure. That gives some sucker to the following car, the chasing car. That's taken the front splitter off of the edge. Hopefully it'll stay attached, but he won't be feeling that too much at the moment, but he'll just feel the mistakes creeping in. Hard work, these cars as well. These are long races. It's very hot inside the car, so it doesn't take much for the mistakes to creep in.
So Josh Webster, race 1 winner, sitting at the moment in 3rd spot and struggling to find a way past Scott McKenna as they come down in the chicane. Ahead of them, of course, about to complete lap 21 is the mighty impressive Harry King, race leader. Up over the line he goes, but all eyes on 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th as they come through. Sam McLeod on the back of that little group. Now can McKenna hang on in there for 2 more laps?
Well, prior to this race, there wasn't anybody on the grid who'd won the Porsche Carrera Cup race apart from Josh Webster, who obviously went on to win race 1. So Harry King is going to become a first-time winner if he can hold on the last 2 laps.
He's not done anything significantly wrong. We've seen one little moment going into the chicane. Despite the energetic way that he drives, it's been a very good result. He's nearly 5 seconds to the good. There he is, Harry King. You can understand why the judges of that Porsche GB scholarship gave him the prize, can't you? Slightly sideways out of the cage, flash of the lights to warn the traffic ahead of his progress. That's James Townsend for Fox Motorsport, who will get out of the way. Harry King has only a lap and a bit to go, but second, third and fourth is still up for grabs.
Nice when you catch a back marker, though, and you haven't got anyone immediately behind you, because you can pick your moment to pass without being panicked into something and losing lap time.
McKenna just about clear of Webster. Josh, with his greater experience in the cars, and indeed in the tyres, how they all behave, closes up a little bit under braking. He's now got one more lap in which to try to go through for second place. Over the timing line go the race leaders then now down towards Redgate, and is Webster near enough to have a go? Almost, and there's a back marker ahead that might just have a part to play on this last lap. Harry King is away and gone though.
Yeah, Harry King's got this under control, but as you say, the back marker may play an outcome in who finishes second. Just depends where they catch him.
So down to the old hairpin. James Townsend turns through. Scott McKenna still running second. Josh Webster third. Matty Graham almost on the coattails of Josh Webster, but not quite close enough to mount a bid. Now, where is the overtake for Lappery going to come as they turn through McLean's? Probably going to be the chicane at this rate, isn't it? Harry King, of course, a long way clear for the race win. Now, Scott McKenna, in fairness to him, has also been very, very impressive on his debut day in Carrera Cup GB. He's still there in second place. Josh Webster third. Now they've got the run down to the chicane. Webster is on his toes. Harry King, however, is on the way up towards a maiden win in Porsche Carrera Cup GB after a mighty performance. Pole for race one, second in that. He's going to win race two. Harry King wins round two of Carrera Cup GB. Scott McKenna is off the road at the chicane. So who scrabbles through? It's going to be McKenna second. It's going to be a virtual dead heat for third. Is it as they come across the line? Webster got it by 69 thousandths of a second from Matty Graham. Fifth goes to McLeod, sixth to Ross Wiley. But as Harry King was having a serene drive over the timing line to win the race, it all kicked off for second place. But Scott McKenna did make it home.
Yeah, I'm guessing he outbraked himself into the chicane on the last lap. Probably looking in his mirrors to see what Webster was doing, but he managed to shoot across the chicane and retain second place. But it was neck and neck between Webster and Graham as they crossed the line. Just 69 thousandths of a second between them.
There is Justin Sherwood winning the AM class ahead of the battle that goes the way in the end of Lucky Carey. He did get ahead of Lee Frost, so that was the way the AMs finished. And this is what happened at the chicane.
Yeah, they were passing the back marker, turning in late on the dirty part of the track. But fantastic result for Harry King, and that's good to see Josh Webster come alongside to congratulate him. I mean, that must feel fantastic to get a win so early at the first meeting of the year for the new Porsche Scholar.
A 1-3 for Team Parker Racing in that race, so wins across both. It's a win each for Harry King and Josh Webster, so Stuart Parker's team has had a great day. But Harry King, his first day of racing these cars, very, very impressive indeed. And you have to say the same is true of Scott McKenna.
Yeah, very much so. Good actual weekend for the 281 Energy cars. Scott McKenna and Matty Graham doing a really good job.
So Harry King makes his way down the pit lane, a pole position, and the points that went with it. Second in race one, he wins race two. It's a very good debut in Carrera Cup GB. Harry King wins round two of Porsche Carrera Cup Great Britain at Donington with Scott McKenna second. He's the winning rookie, and then Josh Webster takes third. Matty Graham fourth ahead of Sam McLeod and Ross Wiley. Esme Hawkey wins Pro-Am seventh overall ahead of Will Martin and Mark Kimber, with a recovering after a spin Lorcan Hannafin in 10th. Dorian Mansilla 11th ahead of Ryan Ratcliffe and Aaron Mason. 14th, the winning AM, that's Justin Sherwood ahead of Lucky Carer and Lee Frost. Steve Clark 17th, a subdued John Ferguson 18th ahead of James Townsend. Justin Armstrong classified, but with a couple of pit stops after a problem.